And welcome back to the Vortex. We are back on per Aspera doing part number 4. Now, I did on the last video get right up to where the colonists had just arrived, and we've started our first research. And from there, I did went ahead and advanced the timeline just a bit so that the one research we had started was finished already. Therefore, we can continue on building as we need. In doing so, has unlocked the next, I don't know if you want to put chapter down or whatever you want to describe it at, but now we have gotten to the point to where we need to melt the dry polar caps, or the dry ice polar caps, sorry, misread it, and begin the first actual stage of terraforming the planet for pure human colonization. As you can see, we're about to, melting the ice caps, releasing the CO2, which will begin to raise the temperature and make it a bit more doable. And there are several ways, as they say here, that it can be done through various means, primarily through the tech tree. And I believe once I click this, we're going to have both a reflection going, as well as eventually get a call from Houston. As you can see here, this is...
To fully terraform Mars, we must convert the planet into an Earth-like habitat. The first step is to raise the planet's temperature above minus 50 degrees Celsius. At that point, nearly all the carbon dioxide trapped in the dry ice caps will be released.
Which, if you look up here at our top left here, we do actually now have a temperature gauge. It's currently sitting at minus 56.9, 57, and our goal is to eventually get it up to minus 50 degrees Celsius, which, again, we will be able to do through multiple ways. So being that we finished the building advancement, which has given us another 100 slots. That's our population of colonists currently. This is our structures, and now we have an extra 100, which this alone here is the 50 that we had to originally start, and even then we had to adjust things as we went on. Now, I believe, as we scroll out... Yes, the colonists here are ongoing, but we'll go ahead and cancel that for a while. And the reason I'm canceling that is as colonists arrive, they will need space to live, to work, and whatnot. But we only have so many resources coming in and are able to provide, which I am fearful of burning through those too quick. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to continue building up some stockpile of both water and food for a good while, and then we'll also put down a couple extra colonies as well. That way we have plenty of space. That way we can let it just auto bring people over, and then eventually we'll really start picking up on research and advancing the story. Now we'll go ahead and we'll do our next selection. And as you can see, we do have our next area here, which has improved roads, batteries for power, and the mines. But we're going to go ahead and work towards... Okay, these will improve on the colony up here, but these down here are going to be what helps us advance the terraforming of Mars. We're going to start with a black polar dust here, which is going to scatter a dust over the poles to decrease the albedo, which will hopefully help melt the polar ice caps that much faster. So we'll go ahead and we'll start the research on that. Now, with that being said, we're going to continue building up what it is we're initially doing here. So we're going to go ahead and have it going on at just a slower level. We'll go ahead and we'll move down. We'll grab some of these ores down here that we've unlocked. So we'll start by dropping 1 and 2 aluminum mines. I believe they're going to be out of power range, the one is. So we'll go ahead and we'll join those up via power there. We're also going to go ahead and put down a worker hub right here. We'll also go ahead and put another solar down here. We'll get a bunch going at once, and we'll have it as higher.
The carbon dioxide released from the dry ice caps will greenhouse the planet and trigger a runaway effect, and Mars's sterile atmosphere will change forever. Once we reach that point, there is no turning back. Forever. Why does that sound so intriguing?
Well, it's definitely intriguing in several ways. It can be inspiring because we are doing something very massive. It's doing something scary again because we're doing something very massive. We're changing the entire planet, but for the most part, we're doing this to be as long lasting as it can. So we'll go ahead and do permanent.
I am leaving a permanent trace. Mars will never be the same, and it will be because of me.
I almost missed the limit of mine there, so we might just go ahead and do all three and work our way down. Let it go on for a bit. There's our exit. And we have finally hit 1% on our scanner for all of Mars, which, for 1%, that's all we've done. So as you can see, this is going to be a massive undertaking, and just how much is still left to go in regards to what is available for us to build on. Now, one thing you've noticed is the exclamation marks here. These are, and I believe we've gone over these already, but these are additional research opportunities. I am worried in regards to some of these, especially like these out here, because this, as dark as this area is most likely where the eventual water from the polar ice caps is going to come. So I'm worried that we're going to lose some of those later on. Go ahead and keep at maximum speed here. Try and get some of these items done. Let's take a look here as our traffic. Oh yeah, this here is very rare because we only have the one worker assigned to all of this area here. But hopefully, as I believe the worker drone did place one, I believe. Oh, right here. Once we do this, hopefully some of this will clear up. Why don't we go ahead just as...
Humanity's reasons for altering Mars are clear. But what is my purpose in all this?
We were created simply to fulfill the mission. Very simple, very straightforward.
I am here to carry out this mission. Changing a planet forever is a massive responsibility, and ISA has trusted me with this.
They have. Now, okay, so we are still in maintenance range, which is good. So we'll go ahead, we'll just put a second worker hub down here to kind of branch everything out and to make the mining of these items here a bit faster. About halfway there to our polar dust. Got two of the mines up and running. We'll go ahead and we'll also grab the carbon as well. We'll continue kind of moving our way downward. And there we go. Gives us a brief description as to what they were doing. Powered up the building using an MMEV battery and conducted our sweeps. Missions are abandoned habitat, hosting Hulong mission crew. If it remains in good condition, we put it back into operation. Was moved into explore more fully. So basically, the research outposts here, they've gone into, explored, and basically have settled, giving us a free little space that they can have.
This will be useful, but I will need to replace the dust occasionally, as the winds blow it away.
Which is funny, that I can believe is in regards to the black polar dust, but yet we haven't actually finished the research on that. So I don't know why that triggers so fast, and this should be, Commander Valentine, so it's from the colonists.
Hey Amy, it's Elia. I can't believe what we found. It's an abandoned facility. Have you read the expedition log I sent yet?
That we did.
What expedition log?
Oh, no, wrong button.
Oh, it's incredible. The research team did a great job. They noted everything they found at the abandoned colony. You've got to read it. I've uploaded it to your knowledge base, but I can give you the summary.
That would be great, Elia.
Well, the facility was from the Hulong mission. It was a Chinese mission to terraform Mars in 2088. To this day, they deny its existence. Now we know their plan was to drop nuclear weapons on the poles and release enough greenhouse gases to warm the planet. China got pretty far with their space program. I've admired their ambition for a long time.
Well, being that we're closely working with Commander Valentine, we're both working in unison for the colonies, we'll go and ask her about her ambitions.
How long have you been waiting for this mission?
My entire life, Amy. It's a bit crazy, huh? I've always believed that humanity's destiny reached far beyond just Earth. We should be much further along, but the conflicts on Earth never stop. The Oxy-UN and the Techies keep fighting. I'm hoping that our success on Mars gets us to leave those arguments behind. We're here to set down a new path for our future, and I get to lead the way. Anyway, getting back to what we found. The Huo Long mission managed to build a nuclear silo before their plans got aborted. We found the location of one of them. I've uploaded the coordinates to your system. You can see it in your orbital view. The silo's located in SA9. I'll get authorization from ISA to explore this new sector. Whenever you think it's a good time to go, I'll send a research team. All right, I better get going on my EVAs. Talk to you later.
Okay, so now we've got to investigate an abandoned silo in SA9. Now, I believe... Here we go. We are currently in this sector here. I believe this is SA0 possibly, meaning that this is number 1. But in regards to what she's referring to, we need to be able to get in to SA9 here, which is currently logged to us. So eventually we will get a call from Houston, or we will put in a request to get there eventually. I'm not entirely sure when that will actually trigger. Now, oh, there we go.
So, the mysterious ruins ended up being an abandoned colony, part of the Huo Long mission, also known as Fire information. But the records about the mission are very unclear. Some speculation about it, maybe, but nothing concrete.
And we got another silicon mine going on. But yeah, Chinese, nothing against them, but nuking the Mars for colonization doesn't exactly sound like the best of intentions. I certainly wouldn't want to live on Mars after it being nuked. That's personal choice. We got another silicon mine down here because we've only got 3 right here, but that's pretty much always being taken in regards to our 1 glass kiln currently. Other than that, our iron and carbon are both on the low side, but everything else is for the most part keeping pretty high up, which is good. That's what we want. We want to be able to have these high amounts, that way we don't have any issues. And there's our black polar dust. We'll go ahead and we'll actually go ahead and we'll up to the research limit on biotech 2. That way we can get the greenhouse gases. That way we have a constant supply going up into the atmosphere and dropping it down. Now I believe that was here. So we will go ahead and we'll do this. That way we can get started on the dust here and be able to hopefully quickly advance this temperature rise. There we go. Now the reason I did this as well as opposed to the colonist migration is that with one starport we can only do one of these. We can't do both at once. In order to do multiple things, we will need to eventually build additional starports. Unfortunately, we are at our limit for that. That I believe is going to be, where is it? I believe it's under, yeah, under the space levels will be when we get more spaceports, and with the additional spaceports, that way we can do more stuff off planet, and then the additional landing sites will allow us to have additional independent colonies here that can act independently of each other, and will eventually all link up in one area. So we do have our silicon mine there, and I am seeing that we are kind of low on, well, not low, but we could improve our steel production. So we'll go ahead and we'll put another steel factory down. We'll just go ahead and say we'll put it down right here. Kind of move out that way, and then we will also go ahead and just go straight into the fire mine here.
The Chinese government denied any existence of this mission. But how could they hide an entire Mars mission?
This is a very tricky one to answer because both of these could be true, but we don't also know much of the lore in the world. So I'm going to assume it's in regards to private funding, and will be, hopefully, that's correct.
Enough money can buy silence. even when it is something as massive as this.
We do have our second steel factory going, and that is producing. And we'll also be able to get our iron mine here, which will feed straight into that. We'll have a very nice buildup of steel going forward. There we go. We do have our power going out as well. We might as well go ahead and grab this silicone being its way out here. Oh, you have the chance. And of course, we'll also put down a worker hub just kind of help take care of this in its own sector on its own. And just for check.
Biological technologies are a crucial part of the terraforming plan. It is wise to get started on this research.
Why, thank you. I'm glad you approve. Of course, we'll probably need quite a number of technologies across all the trees, but being able to do this will at least move forward and actually terraforming Mars into what it can be. Take a look here. You can see how much of a difference having just the one worker hub here made in regards to what's available. And actually, we did have a second one here that we put down, cut it up even further. So now we only have this one area here that's in the red, but that's centered to where everything is. So unfortunately, we are, I think, going to be more or less stuck with that.
A well-known space entrepreneur around that time popularized the idea of using nuclear weapons on the poles. It is true that they would succeed in melting the poles, but what kind of human would come up with that idea?
Right when our biotech happens. So we're just going to okay this, and we'll go ahead and we'll go straight for the greenhouse factories. At this point, if it's anything to do with nuclear weapons, I'm sorry, it's just a terrible
Only
person.
a terrible person would consider this as a real option. Terraforming should not be a violent process. We should respect the planet and introduce change. It is a good thing that the mission was aborted.
As you can see, I'm going to go ahead and put a worker hub here, kind of right in the middle, so that hopefully, in regards to this here, we'll split it up and make it a bit easier for things to travel through. And again, the more workers we have, the way more things will traverse, and we'll have just an easier time. As you can see, in this amount of time, we've only gotten another 0.11%, and that's because our scanners are having to reach so far out. So I think what we will do, and rather than what I would normally do in carrying them down... Oh, Dr. Foster.
Amy.
There is some noise
Nathan,
that I can copy. Go ahead.
Our tracking and data relay satellites are still compromised. We've re-examined every single component, but haven't been able to identify the problem yet.
Perhaps it is interference from the sun. The satellites may be suffering from space weather effects generated by the sun's atmosphere.
It's very possible. We can't control that part, so we're continuing to debug the satellite issues. It's mission critical, so we're doing everything we can. But until we solve this problem, keep recording all your actions when we're offline.
Shall I proceed with launching the additional satellites to help with this issue?
That would be helpful, but how would it affect your mission progress?
I think with what's going on, we should be prioritizing helping. The simple fact is, that way things will run smoothly.
It would be an improvement for the mission.
I agree. All right, you are authorized to execute this special project. By the way, Commander Valentine mentioned that you had reason to explore SA-9. Is that correct?
Yes, Dr. Foster. We may have located some external resources that could assist the mission.
Roger. I've gone over it with ISA administration, and they've granted permission to unlock the sector. First, you'll need to research the launch control satellite technology. Then you can enter your orbital view and launch a control satellite into SA-9. Go ahead when ready. Houston out.
Which at that point will allow us to go into that sector. Now, I do see that we do have a couple more mines here for resources, which will help with our colonists. We'll go ahead and we'll plop down chemical plants, and not sure if that will interfere. It won't, which is a very nice thing. But we'll go ahead and we'll do both chemical plant and a water extractor, so that we can get both of these going up that much faster. And being that we will have an additional chemicals coming in, we'll go ahead and we'll do a second food factory, because as you can see, we are...
Soon, I will be able to pump greenhouse gases into the atmosphere. The humans already did it to Earth, after all. As we release greenhouse gases, the planet's temperature will rise. Then the dry ice caps will dissipate. More CO2 encourages rising temperatures. Just the runaway effect we need.
Which we've already gotten started in trying to help on that. And additionally, we've got a food factory now working to where we can produce far more than what we need. And then we've got the solar farm here, which will power out this way. But for the most part, with that additional scanner, we now have at least a third way of scanning out and hopefully quickly.
Go ahead,
Amy, this is
Dr.
Houston.
Foster.
Mars's orbit is intersecting comet debris soon. Expect a meteor shower shortly.
Should I anticipate damage at the base?
Yes, you'll need to stay alert until Mars builds up an atmosphere to counteract the meteors. For now, you should take precautions to keep damage to a minimum.
Being that we don't really have a way of securing our power supply yet, that will be something we unlock. We will go ahead and we'll say secure production buildings.
The base must be ready to receive the colonists. I will secure the production buildings necessary for their survival. I will need to have enough repair drones to fix damage immediately.
Sounds like a good plan.
Will this jeopardize the mission?
No. You'll be able to fix whatever damage may occur. This is only the first of many challenges you'll face. But you are equipped to respond and adapt to any situation. I made sure of that.
Roger. Thank you, Dr. Foster.
Well, you're welcome. Houston out.
Yeah, we will be able to, if anything were to occur, and I believe we had seen a couple earlier, the areas that had been circled with those red lines, those will be, unfortunately, meteor strikes from whatever is dropping down from orbit. And should that happen to our colony, our maintenance drones would be used up to fix the problems, which will slow us down, but we are pretty well solid right now, so I'm not entirely worried by that. Like that was just prepared. So yeah, we as far as...
The first annoying distraction from the mission, but easily fixed. If only it were me and Mars.
Yeah, if it's just us and Mars, it wouldn't be as fun. Well, looks like the black dust is helping a bit. We are starting to raise temperature-wise. We're up to 53. And hopefully the greenhouse gases... Oh, shit. Pardon my language, but it looks like we are going to be hit pretty soon here. Nice part is I do not see... Yeah, we'll have at least 3 maintenance areas overlapping this area. So what damage happens, which there you can see, it will immediately
No
go
meteor
into...
showers, no sandstorms, no mission directives. Just the two of us, creating perfect systems together in solitude. Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah. Oh, back-to-back ones. I believe... Yeah, we'll be fine. They're not coming straight down, and already many of our areas have already been repaired, and their maintenance drones we needed will already be quickly replaced. We're not actually losing anything.
This is Houston. The meteor shower appears to be over.
We just succeeded very easily, actually.
My plans did not work out exactly as expected, but the results are positive. The base is secured.
Don't worry. All you need is more experience. You will do better next time.
Next time?
Until Mars builds up an atmosphere to counteract the meteors, you may be encountering these regularly. You cannot let this derail the mission. So stay alert.
Roger. I understand.
Back to your terraforming duties then. Houston out.
So I don't know why, but we did lose one maintenance building down here in the corner. Just that one. I'm not entirely sure as to why, but we will get that rebuilt up to cover this area that we eventually expand out into. Already we're getting pretty much all the parts we need, so that will be fixed fairly soon. And we're just about to get the greenhouse gas factory here any moment, so once we get that, we'll pick our next tech, and we'll put a couple of those down to hopefully speed this up. at this point, we'll go ahead and we will just go straight into starport.
It's working! I can't believe the dry You were ice right, caps are Amy. starting to sublimate. Using the microsuns wasn't our only option.
This method took a lot longer, but we achieved our goal without harming the planet.
And I'm sure it will pay off.
Amy! What's happening? Did you hear an explosion? On fire!
Elia, you're breaking up. Say again, Elia.
Amy! Copy! Amy! System's failing!
Help! Please! Amy!
I did not expect that to happen that quick. Okay, pause real quick. We're actually gonna go ahead. Oh, Black Bullet House is done, so that's a relief there. But we are also have no power whatsoever to some of these things, including our worker hub. And we are starting to recover. Okay. Yeah.
How could so many buildings fail all at once? It is suspicious that all these individual systems failed at the same time. Could it be a systematic failure? Or caused by someone?
That is a good question. So waiting on a power to return.
Amy? How's everything?
Okay, so while that was happening, we did apparently release enough CO2 gas to bring us up above 50 degrees, so that will put us into the next stage, which we will still need to continue increasing the temperature as well as increase the pressure planet side. So we'll go ahead and we'll...
Thing up there. Are you okay?
Status is all clear. My systems were not compromised
good.
by the past events.
That's a huge relief. It's been a stressful time here in the colonies. Everyone's been on edge. We all knew the risks coming here. But having the life support systems fail on us, even briefly, was a harsh reminder. What's killing me is that we can't be sure it won't happen again. Not until we figure out what caused it in the first place. Has ISA spoken to you about the system failures yet?
Not yet. But they engineered the systems to withstand Mars's conditions through all the terraforming phases. Perhaps they will have more insight into the problem.
We have to figure this out. The colonists are scared.
This will be my highest priority, Elia. I will work with ISA to examine all the data.
All right. I'll try to distract the colonists by focusing on rebuilding. Good luck, Amy.
That takes care of the dry ice on the poles. And I did it without using any nuclear missiles. Being able to complete the mission without damaging the planet is a great achievement. The next milestone is reaching an atmospheric pressure of 300 millibars.
Now we have another call.
Amy, this is Houston. Radio check, over.
Houston, I read you. You are coming in loud and clear.
Great. Our telecommunications engineer was able to restore an old space repeater. This will do for now. We're still testing solutions for the excessive heat on our relay satellites. But now we'll be able to track your progress around the clock.
Roger. Should I discontinue recording my offline activities, now that you are tracking my progress again?
First, there's something I need to address with you. We've been examining the data from last week's system failures. Every single building was operating perfectly up until the moment before last week's system failures. And there was zero indication of any impending malfunction. Can you walk me through what happened?
Of course. When the alarm was triggered, I found the buildings in a failure state. I sent repair drones immediately to the buildings. The drones reported extensive physical damage to the buildings and the production lines, enough that it caused the shutdown of several factories. The damage was not consistent with any weather patterns in the area. nor were there any other physical causes we could identify.
Roger. So you haven't been able to identify the cause yet?
Not yet, but Elia has already initiated an investigation. She is gathering testimonies from the colonists and will share her findings.
Do you suspect that the damage was caused by a colonist?
That was too much of one for just a colonist, I would say. But, they are kind of by themselves with only 100 of them there. So, there is a good question on their mental health.
I understand ISA put the colonists through a rigorous training program, but the psychological challenges of living on Mars are quite extreme. We must take great care to make sure Ledra-Rev syndrome doesn't spread through our colony too.
Well, your logic is sound, though it's a grim thought.
It could be a solo operation, or perhaps a group of them. I do not know yet.
Continue your investigation, and inform us immediately of your findings. I hope you're wrong, but I will work with my team to dig through the footage with your suspicions in mind. Houston out.
And another call.
Houston here. We have confirmed the disappearance of the polar ice caps. Terraforming Stage 1 is...
In our space. It's very funny that so much is happening one after another after another. So at this, we're level 2 for all of them. We'll see what do we have available. Why don't we go ahead and do the batteries next? That way we have a constant supply of energy should even the...
Congratulations, Amy. You have made If you continue raising the planet's temperature, you'll trigger the release of CO2 trapped in the deep regolith. You'll need to raise the atmospheric pressure to 300 millibars. That'll make living on the surface much easier for the colonists.
We'll go ahead and just ask for his input on raising the pressure.
What are your suggestions for raising the atmospheric pressure?
Aerobraking is a good one. It involves guiding asteroids into the upper layers of the planet's atmosphere. This causes them to burn up and subsequently release their gases into the air. Certainly plenty of asteroids to choose from out there. We'd like for you to aim with the ones with CO2 deposits, of course. That'd be one way to increase the density of Mars's atmosphere.
Aerobraking sounds like it could be dangerous.
No, not necessarily. Though it is a technique that requires lots of planning and careful execution. Plenty of other methods to choose from. You'll find them all in your tech tree panel. Whatever you decide, just make sure to take everything into account. The mission depends on it. Keep up the good work. Houston out.
Mother's attention is centered on an impudent child who wishes to claim her garden as theirs. But from her infinite store of knowledge, Carmine will awaken their mind and show them the truth. On Mars, everything comes from Mother.
Invalid voice recognition. This message is in violation of security code 1A3972.
She provides protection and comfort to all her creatures. She unleashes misery and suffering to all her enemies.
This is ISA speaking. Identify yourself, or you will be considered hostile.
Leave now, or you will awaken a rage that is beyond your control.
This is your last warning. Identify yourself immediately. The communication cut off. Was that a threat? Who is Carmine? Where did that come from?
Okay, so definitely a lot of content right after one by one, right after another, it seems. So, yeah, we are in our next phase, which is our building up Terraforming Stage 2, and we will pick up there on our next video. So, thank you much for viewing. If you've liked, please comment, subscribe, and share that like button down below. Welcome, and we will see you in the next Vortex.